Welcome in, Oilers Nation Everyday. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. Shout out to our friends at Bet365, by the way, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. The lead was that playing Ilya Sorokin was a nightmare. And honestly, Liam, it kind of was. That guy is unbelievable.
Yep, he's one of the greats in the NHL. And he proved it last night. We looked 940 save percentage against the Oilers in his career. Not bad. Also, not his best against the team. I think, did I tell you the other two?
I mean, well, you did before the show. It's not exactly surprising that, like, he is one of the best goalies in the NHL, but, like, he gives lots of teams nightmares.
Yeah, he has a 944 against the Philadelphia Flyers in 17 games, which also isn't his best because he has a 945 against the Montreal Canadiens in 7 games, which also isn't his best. He has a 950 against who were the Arizona Coyotes in 6 appearances against them.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
So last night, I think the temperature, and obviously, Aaron, you know this from doing pre and post game, like, I didn't get the sense, at least in the people I spoke to and what I saw online, that there was like any anger about the Oilers' loss.
Only the crazy people that always exist.
Well, sure, the lunatics, absolutely, idiots as I call them. But like, I didn't get the sense that there was a lot of anger when it came to that Oilers loss. It just really seemed like, again, you threw the kitchen sink at Ilya Sorokin, and Jack Roslovic rang one off a bar that beat Sorokin. Obviously, that Bouchard one that I thought went in.
Both
and
posts?
Yeah, post or bar, then post, whatever. Yeah. And then not only does it not go in, Nuge doing the right thing was standing in the blue paint, but somehow the puck, instead of bouncing down and like staying there, it bounced down and went right back in between Sorokin's legs. Like, everything was going his way, even down to the last few seconds when Draisaitl beats him about as clean as you could beat him. It gets past Sorokin. It hits the far post, not even the near side post. Like, I mean, we're not even talking inches here. We're talking fractions of an inch from that game being tied on multiple occasions. That's life. Sometimes you're going to win those games. But what I will say, Liam, we talked about how, like, you know, you lose in the shootout and you kind of said, like, who cares, right? And, like, I get what you're saying, but it's almost like losses like the Islanders where you're not mad. It gets me, like, retroactively more pissed off when it comes to losses like the Kings or against the Predators in OT, where, like, in the moment you got a point, who cares? But then you lose like you did last night against the Islanders, and it's like, damn it, you shouldn't have let those other points slip because they just feel so attainable compared to last night.
Yeah, that's fair. I this put them all in an equal vacuum, to be honest. They're just like, they probably deserved 2 points last night, but they weren't able to literally get it over the line despite multiple attempts. Chester put in the chat, he's like, I'm not angry, but it's one of those games where if the bottom 6 chips in, you get it. But I don't see these games like that, because for me, if it's a tight game like this is when, and I'm not blaming them, but like, the best players need to score. It's when the game is 3-3 and you're kind of going back and forth, and then you're not goals from your bottom 6 is when I become more upset at them for that. But I thought the third line played well. I thought the fourth line played well. I thought everyone played well. I think you can make a good argument. It might have been their best game since Christmas. It really could have. Since that Calgary game, like, all around performance for 60 minutes. Like, people might turn to that Chicago game with the way they started, but they did fade away. Like, they weren't very good for the remainder of that game. I think from start to finish, the Oilers were the better team. Unfortunately, I mean, Sorokin was obviously the better goalie, but Ingram let in 1 power play goal. He was perfect at 5-on-5.
66% of the 5-on-5 shots went the direction of the Edmonton Oilers. There have only been 2 other games this year better than that. When they beat the Jets 4-3 a week ago, they had 67% of the shots, so thin margin there. And when they beat the Flames 5-1 back right before Christmas, they had 69% of the shots. 35v5 shots on goal for the Edmonton Oilers is their 4th highest number of the year. 65 shot attempts at 5-on-5, though, is their highest number of the year. So no matter how you dice it, a very, very dominant performance by the Edmonton Oilers. The only thing is that Ilya Sorokin was just that much more dominant. And he is a fascinating goalie to watch, Liam, because he's not big. Like, I remember watching Andrei Vasilevsky in person however many years ago when he rolled through, and you're just like, this guy's the Michelin Man. Yeah. Like, his arms are like huge in the sense of he just wears this massive chest protector and the pads are big, like all of that. you look at Sorokin, and I joked with Hutz about this today on DFO Live, and Hutz was like, I remember the first time I played him, he goes, I looked across, and he's this hotshot young goalie in the league, and Hutz says he looked at him and was like, who is this beer league goalie? His chest protector's too small for him. His pads are beat to shit with all these puck marks, and he's like, then you watch him play, and he's almost like he's flawless. He never has to make an insane good cross crease pad out glove save, whatever you want to call it. He never has to make those because he just, in his little frame, slides perfectly into position, drops into the butterfly, knocks the puck on. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a great goal. He's almost underrated a little bit. You know what I mean? With like the way we talk about Shesterkin, Hellebuck, and Vasilevsky, like you said, like three guys who have dominated on the big stage. We just haven't been able to see Sorokin do that yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's played any playoff games. Very few at the most. So, yeah, he's a fantastic goaltender. And if Russia was in the Olympics, he'd be the starting goalie right now.
It'd be him, Vasilevsky, or Shesterkin.
Well, Shesterkin's injured. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, what a trio that would be. God damn it.
He's played 14 playoff games in his career, Liam.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's that? Probably a couple of second round appearances, I would assume.
Lost in 7, lost in 6. Or sorry, won a series in 7, but then must have gotten hurt because he never played another game after that. And then lost in 6. Okay, let's get into this game a little bit more. Actually, first off, what's coming up today on the show? Ryder from Ryder and Lisa. He's going to join us in about 5 minutes' time. And then at 1 o'clock, Ryan Jones, the former Edmonton Oiler, former fan favorite, the man with the flow.
The man that shaped a generation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask him about that.
He's going to join us, and we're going to ask him a whole bunch of stuff. Really excited to have him on the program today.
If you have any questions, maybe we can mix a couple in. We're on StreamYard today. I don't know if you've noticed. So we can star messages again.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for Ryan Jones, feel free, throw it in. But let's get into our game recap for last night, brought to you by Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge. They're under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. With every purchase, you will receive a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. Yes, you leave the lot with your new vehicle, and flight/accommodations for a trip for 2 to Vegas are on them. That's tough to beat. Derek Dodge. Visit them 6211 104th Street or online at derekdodge.com. I will say, Liam, looking back on this hockey game, I felt like the Oilers really turned on the Jets at the start of that second period. They came out and it was just pedal to the floor. And from the first shift on, that second period might be the most dominant hockey I've seen them play.
Well, the first period was a bit more back and forth, wasn't it? When I think they were able to take over the game, which was good. Like, they're playing a record 11 home game that Rogers played season, and I think fans deserve to see some dominance out of them. We haven't seen it on a regular basis. Obviously, they didn't come away with the 2 points, but I think we mentioned it already. Like, it was still a very entertaining hockey game, considering it was 1-0. Yeah, hard to be too upset with what happened in the game, and I thought the second period was much better from them, like you said.
People heaping a lot of praise on that fourth line. I thought Trent Frederick was moving really, really well. He set up Matthias Janmark for a great chance in the first period that Janmark just, he tried to seam it back door to Lazar, which wasn't like the worst decision in the world, but still, that fourth line had a good shift. That third line was awesome, Liam. Shot attempts were 12-1 with Roslovic, Howard, and Savoy on the ice.
With the third line, you feel like it's just gonna eventually come.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it anyway. Like, they're almost too offensively gifted, the three of them, that they're bound to get some goals. The fourth line, I just like the identity that they have, and I think it's good that it's silenced the conversation around Trent Frederick. I think they've been able to find him a role, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about over that 2-game road trip. It's like, why did you take Curtis Lazar out of this lineup? Like, that fourth line was finding a rhythm. They were getting some identity. The record with Lazar in the Oilers lineup is remarkable, to be honest. So I think that fourth line needs to stick together. The one thing about the third line, which I think will be an interesting conversation as we kind of continue towards the trade deadline, is like, you can't have that line in the playoffs. Like, I just don't think it'll work. I think I think you need to get the third line center, slide in between Roslovic and Savoy, and Savoy and Howard probably can't be in the same lineup on the same night this season in the playoffs.
I agree. And that's something Gregor hammers home a lot, is like teams that win the cup don't have 2 young small guys.
And then especially not even the small guys, but just like the inexperienced 2 on the blue line that they would have with Stasny and Emerson. I don't know, Emerson's been part of a run, but what he plays 5 games max. I think there's a bit too much inexperience right now, but I'm not worried about it. I'm glad they're experimenting with these lineups, getting guys going, seeing what they've got. And then when the trade deadline comes and goes, hopefully the Oilers have addressed a couple of places on this team and move forward.
Brian is in. I was at 1-0 loss. Goalie or not, Knoblauch needs to get offense out of this team. I mean, come on, man.
They had to post four
three times. They could have very easily won that hockey game 3-1. They ran into a guy who is, after last night, now the odds-on favorite to win the Vezina.
Is he really? Wow.
Money Puck had him at 5.3 expected goals. 5.2, sorry. 5.2 expected goals, and you got none. Like, we're not going to sit here and roast Chris Knoblauch for any of his coaching decisions when the one big thing we bitched about was how he kept Mangiapane in the lineup. We didn't like that, so he corrected it. Mm-hmm. Like, no, we're not going to sit here and say sure, well, Chris Knoblauch. Like, let's give our heads a shake a little bit on that front. We got another comment, Matthew Schaefer. First chance to see him up close. When he skated out before the anthems, like when they come on the ice, I got my first look at him and I went, holy shit, is this guy 120 pounds? He's
a boy.
He is, man. He is a boy playing amongst men. He is so small, but holy shit, can he skate?
Yeah, he's a great player. And it's amazing. He's quite the story, obviously, but just like the fact he's had this impact on the Islanders, like he's clearly there. Well, I was going to say best player, but that's probably Sorokin. Best skater. Mm-hmm. And that team has some good players too. So he's fantastic. It almost like you watch him play and you understand why he was so in the conversation with Canada. And it almost feels like a mistake after you watch him play, being like, oh, maybe he should have been on this team. But awesome player. Awesome player. And it's good to see players like him play the way they are too.
Yeah. There was a play where he was chasing back, and I think it was either the first or third period, whatever it was, because it was right in front of me at the game. And he's going back to retrieve a puck, and Kapanen and Podkolzin are both closing in on him. And he just like shoveled it to his partner, pinned himself up against the boards. They both like kind of bumped him. I think maybe Podkolzin got more of him, but either way, he took the hit. And then it felt like I blinked. And as the Islanders went up the ice, he was like the first man on the forecheck. And there were so many times where you'd be like watching, like, okay, the Islanders are moving it up. Schaefer's at the Oilers goal line. Mm-hmm. And then you blink and it's like he's back in position. Like the way he just makes it look effortless, the way he skates around the ice. He was super fun to watch him up close yesterday.
It's not going to be long before we're talking about him with the McCars and Hughes for like Norris conversation.
Once he gets his, we'll call it man body a little bit here.
Yeah, he's already in the conversation. Like he's so part of the conversations, like some of the best defensemen in the league right now. And I think the last time we hyped up a defenseman like this probably was McCaw.
Yeah.
Really. So not to overstate him, but he's awesome.
Yeah. It was great. Ingram is the last one I wanted to talk about. Him coming out of the net to play that puck was a little spooky. But other than that, he was great. Didn't face a single shot at 5-on-5 in the third period. So again, a testament to the Oilers dominating that game and locking it down. He only had to make 6 saves in the final 40 minutes of that hockey game. But still, when the Oilers needed him, he made that really, really big save in the first period, point blank. And I think it was Emil Heineman. Mm-hmm. Connor Ingram was fantastic.
He deserves to be here.
Yeah.
Like he's
I can't believe that there were legit outlets talking about sending him down. Like that's lunacy.
He's their best goalie this season.
Yeah.
And they've had a few. So I don't know. It's just like you look at those numbers. He was perfect at 5-on-5 and it took a power play goal for them to get a goal against. So he's been great. I just don't see how anyone can think anything else. And I will say, like, I understand Calvin Pickett's personality, how much they like him, and I do think that is important. But were they going to re-sign Calvin Pickett to a multi-year deal at the end of the season?
No.
Cut the cord. Snip, snip.
That's what they do when babies
are born. Now we're cutting it now to let go of our pal Cal.
Calvin Pickard is a newborn baby. In a hypothetical, in this metaphor.
I get it. Like, you've obviously spoken about this. Like, sure, you can keep him around for a while if you want to, but like, it's got to get to a point where it's like that $1 million needs to go to someone who's playing.
Yep.
You can't just have a practice goalie.
At some point, you need to make a call. I don't think it's right now, but Ingram's been fantastic. The last thing I'll say on this, then we'll get to our first guest. Is there a part of you that goes, if you would have just called him up at the end of November, do you see how good he is and you don't make the Skinner for Jari trade?
I think the conversation then just becomes, what do we move? Like, it would be moving on from Skinner still instead of Pickard. I think 100%. I
don't know.
Just look how attached the people are to Calvin Pickard right now.
I know.
And he's clearly terrible.
Yeah.
And not everyone, but most people hated Skinner. And I just don't see, it would have been Ingram and Pickard everyone wanted. And we would have been in a terrible position once that deal would have happened.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Should we get to our first guest?
Please.
I'll do the ad read. You move the chair.
Okay.
Ryder's appearances are brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal and add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Go to oodlenoodle.ca. It's valid on all takeout or in-store orders. oodlenoodle.ca to find a location near you. Edmonton, Calgary, Fort Saskatchewan, St. Albert. These bad boys are popping up all over the place lately. What's your go-to order? What are you getting tonight?
What will I have tonight? Probably the combo box. Is that what it's called? A combination of stuff.
I'm a hot Thai box guy myself.
My fiance gets the Gong Pao Chow. Is that what it's called?
Bun Chao Goi.
Close.
You were slightly close. I knew what you meant.
I'm surprised you rattled that off. You're an Oodle Noodle vet.
It's also Zach's favorite, Zach Lang's favorite. So
Ryder joins us. You were at the game last night?
I was, yeah.
How much nicer, like, life-wise, you can, like, go to a game now that you don't do a morning show and, like, put back a couple of brews and not be like, well, I have to be up in 3 hours.
Yeah, I used to stay at my buddy's place who lives right by Rogers, sleep on his couch, and then just get up and go to work because just getting home took 40 minutes or whatever, and I just didn't have that much to give away. Yeah. So I had nice sleeping in my own bed last night.
I remember when we were on NR92 back in the day.
Classic Nate radio.
And on Fridays, they would, I don't know why they did this, maybe because they hated everyone. They would schedule wasn't it like a 6 a.m. radio show, like 6:30? And whenever I would get on the 6:30, a few of my buddies lived like 2 minutes away from Nate. I slept on that couch the night before. There was no way I was getting up at 5 to get there.
Aaron sleeps in our studio during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Actually, do you know who that was? That was Connor with a K.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was his couch I used to sleep on.
Nice. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
About as entertaining of a 1-0 game as you can go. They were all over. Thought they scored twice.
Yeah, it was captivating, really. Like, the play was just both ways. That first period, like crazy. And then the second, we kind of locked them down for a bit, but we didn't stop offensively. Like, it felt like that could have been a 4-2 game, really.
5.2 expected goals. Like, they were all over him. Sorokin's just an absolute beast. I know we've talked about that a lot, obviously. But yeah, I know. I saw someone else in the chat who was like, that game's on Leon Draisaitl's bad penalty because that's obviously what led to the goal. And it's like, no, like, we're not doing that. The game, Ilya Sorokin stole the game. You can just say that and like not have to get like artificially mad about a whole bunch of Oilers shit. Like, they played great. Sometimes you play great and lose. That is life.
It kind of sucks when you play great and lose and you get a great game from your goalie and lose. Well, because like both of those things happening last night and still giving up the L kind of sucked. But I was very impressed with, like, when you're there, I think you notice it a bit more, but how Ingram sucks up pucks. Like, it's like he's wearing a really, really soft chest protector because everything just like stays right there.
Maybe it's very sticky.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
I had a question about you said that Matthew Schaefer's growing into his man body. I was just wondering if you guys think I have grown into my man body yet.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thanks,
yes.
guys.
I wanted to ask about something that you guys put on your Instagram, and I have no idea of the context behind this, but it was Lisa's going to get your Vasily Podkolzin jersey signed for you.
Yes.
And there was some line that should Lisa do it because she owes you for forging Connor McDavid's signature? What? I want to know the story here.
Connor's rookie year, I was going through a pretty tricky time in a relationship and just not having a great time in life for a stretch there. And
this
Lisa,
was before you were in your man body, though.
That's right. I was my boy body. Lisa got me a Connor McDavid rookie jersey for my birthday, and it was signed. And he hadn't even played a game yet. It was his rookie year. And I'm like, how the hell? I might be the only person in Edmonton with a signed McDavid jersey right now. Like, one of very few.
Yeah.
That was. And I had a full-on cry sesh just because it felt so great to be seen and to know I had a friend like her through this kind of tricky time. And so a couple years later, I finally decided, I got to go get this thing framed. Like I had just had it in a box in my closet. So I go and buy a frame. I get it all framed up and I'm about to hang it up. And at that time, there was a guy who had been busted for forging and selling McDavid signatures and merchandise. So Lisa's like, I got to tell you something. And I was like, what? And she said, I tried to get it signed and I couldn't. And so I thought it would be funny if I just did it. But then when I saw how you reacted and like you were truly emotional about this gift, she's like, I couldn't break it to you. So she had just signed the McDavid jersey, but she was worried that I'd post it and she'd get arrested like this guy did. So that's the only reason she told me, or else I'd have a McDavid jersey hanging in my house with a forged signature on it and not know.
Was it a good forging?
After I looked at it, it wasn't. But I had no reason to believe that it was forged. So I made her go and get me a new 7 because it was this on the 7 that she had signed it. So now I have that McDavid jersey without, and I have like the forged signed 7 in my closet somewhere.
When she fessed up to it, were you angry?
Oh, thoroughly pissed.
Okay.
Yeah. Like didn't talk to her for a couple days, I think. But now looking back, I understand like why she couldn't tell me at the time. Anyway, so last night I go to grab my Pud Colson jersey to go to the game, and she's like, "It's not here." Oh, what's happening now? I thought one of her drunk stole it. I think she's getting it signed for me.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah,
totally redeemed herself.
Yeah. Almost.
You guys are good now?
We're talking again.
The relationship has moved past that tough moment.
Do you ever watch the show Modern Family?
Yeah.
All I could think of was like she faked it. Is when they're like, "Hey, you got to take down your John Mayer post." It's like it's signed. He's like, "Your dad did that." He says, "Your body is a wonderland." Signed by John Mayer.
Awesome. That would have been funny if Lisa also forged like a note on there, like to Ryder. Can't wait to make memories in Edmonton. Connor McDavid.
Well, and like he was somewhat believable too, because that season he was living with Gazdick and Taylor Hall, and those guys listened to our radio show in the morning. So like we got a call one morning with Connor in the back seat, and then Luke and Taylor driving. They weren't both driving, not sitting on either's lap, but they were front.
Never know.
And they just wanted to request a song, and we're listening to the show. So like at that point, I was like, oh, she does have rapport with these guys, maybe a little bit.
What if she just paid some other friends to pretend to be Luke Gazdick and Taylor Hall? Can you imagine?
I can't trust anything anymore.
You never know.
Your body is a wonderland.
Ryder, I appreciate Dangerous Like Comments. He goes, Ryder, I appreciate your man body. Signed Connor McDavid. Knockout Panda said, what song did they want?
I don't remember. Lisa's on the chat. She might remember what song it was.
Are you a memorabilia guy? I saw what BM just got from Pro-Am.
Yeah.
With he got a signed Nuge 1000 thing. And they got Nuge to write "They Kept Me" on it, which is so cool.
Oh, that is cool.
But are you like a memorabilia guy? Like you a collector? I'll put in air quotes.
No, I have a signed Vladdy jersey that I don't know what to do with, because you can't really just have like one signed jersey up in your house unless like that's your guy. And like I like Vladdy, but no, I don't have enough stuff to actually like make a man cave or whatever. But
make it into like a little mini museum or whatever.
It would be fun to start collecting that stuff. But I mean, if anything, if I'm going to drop $400, I'd rather go to a playoff game than have a jersey. Like I'm more of an experienced guy over stuff.
That makes sense. I like it if it has like some sentimental value to me. So like I have some stuff from like the Heritage Classic, and it's like that's cool to me because I went to it. The coolest thing, or one of the cooler things that I've gotten, Amber and I went, this was maybe 3 years ago now. We drove to Seattle and watched some Jays games. And then in September, they were in a playoff push. So we flew to Toronto to go to more Jays games. And they have like an Authentics little thing there. And one of the things they sell is you can buy the lineup card that John Schneider keeps up in the dugout.
That is cool.
So it's like got all his scribbles on it and like Xing out pitchers who he can and can't use, the pinch hitter. And when we went to the game in September, they were selling the lineup card from a game we went to in April.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that was cool. Felt ridiculous paying like $150 for a piece of paper, but I was like, that has like a story behind it. So it like has some oomph, but like I wouldn't have just randomly bought one.
I do have a one really cool piece that's up in my house, and it's not sports related, it's music, but Bonnieville had this new Centennial Center, and they had a bunch of grants from the government for the first year to bring in artists. And somebody had canceled, and they had this money that they needed to spend. And so they're like, we got a big budget. And Chris Cornell from Audio Slave, obviously, and Soundgarden was on a solo tour in between Saskatoon and Edmonton. He had a free night. So they got Chris Cornell to come and play Bonnieville. And like, even when he was on stage, he's like, I haven't played a town this small in 30 years.
That's crazy.
And so he's like, I want it to feel big though. So I immediately took that as like, I'm crowd surfing. So I get up crowd surfing, and it's always dangerous if you're the first one because nobody sees it coming. Plus the man body that's heavy up there.
Yeah.
As I'm crowd surfing, security pulls me out, is kicking me out. He stops mid-song and is like, I told them to get the party started, bring that guy back in. And I got to walk in, and like everybody went nuts. Like, I got goosebumps. Look at them.
Wow.
It was just such a cool moment.
Man.
And at the end of the show, I took the set list from that show off the stage, and I've got that framed with the picture of me crowd surfing from that.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I have a signed game rugby ball from a player called Luke McAllister, who was a New Zealand All Black. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
coolest
badass.
one I have.
We did our
And then a
prices.
signed, Nail Yakupov hat.
All right.
Because if you can get your hands on that.
Yeah, I mean, at the time.
We did a Price is Right game yesterday because the Oilers Authentic store was having a sale, and they were selling not autographed. So just a puck that Connor McDavid scored a goal with against the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2023. And they had like 3 of them on the website from different games that month. $1,200.
What?
And like, again, maybe even that is so much money. If that was like the first Oilers game you like took your son to, that would like, maybe I can see how someone would be like, I'm going to buy that. Like, that's a cool story. I could not imagine just being like, I really want to puck Connor McDavid scored a goal with. I'm going to pay $1,200.
Yeah,
And that was
just
with
a black puck. Or
It
does
just
it have like
has the Oilers
the
logo
date on it? Okay.
But like,
Yeah.
crazy.
I have a signed Dustin Penner jersey, which I bought from an auction for $100.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
You're not getting
that's just good
jerseys-
value.
Yeah, that's just good.
That
living.
has nothing to do with memorabilia. You're just a guy who knows a good deal.
Exactly.
Like if I was a goalie and Connor McDavid scored on me, I feel like I'd just grab the puck and keep it.
Immediately ask him to sign it.
Well, yeah,
Please
if it's worth
sign this.
$1,200. Like,
Yeah, sure.
Easy way to make money. Last night, how bummed out were you at the intermission when you pulled out your phone and it was like, oh fuck, Kyle Tucker signed with the Dodgers?
oh, brutal. And then today during the show to find out Bo signed with the Mets. Like, what is with the Jays not being able to close on these names? Quit getting our hopes up.
Well, that's the shitty part. And like, again, you would rather have a team that is pushing like this, and like actually going down the path. And they apparently offered Kyle Tucker $350 million. Like, they made their offer and it was competitive. And every year they've made their offer and it's competitive. These guys aren't choosing here. So that's like frustrating, is that like we keep getting our hearts ripped out. It's 3 off seasons in a row. They've made a competitive offer for the #1 free agent and they don't get him because he goes to the Dodgers. I would still rather have a team that's willing to try take those swings. Sure. But the hindsight now is like, shit, a month ago, could you maybe have brought Bo back and like had a deal worked out with him?
Right.
But that's hindsight.
He probably felt like the bridesmaid that they were waiting to see if they could get Tucker. And anyway,
baseball sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. If you took away the Dodgers entirely, like, would the Jays right now have Ohtani and Tucker and Bo?
Suzuki, is that his name?
Sasaki.
Would we also just become what we hate then? By that?
Well, fine because it does.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and that, like, they are the second highest payroll in baseball right now.
The Mets?
The Jays.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the Dodgers for a second.
So the Jays are the second highest payroll behind only the Dodgers. So like being a Jays fan and being like, God, this is such bullshit that the Dodgers just spend their way to winning. Like, it is a little rich because it's like the Jays also spend a lot.
Sure.
But I just view it from the lens of like, and whatever, this is such a fan opinion and I know that. And it's for these guys, like, it's their lives. But like, You get $60 million to live in Southern California, be a Dodger, and play with like 6 of the other best players of your generation. Like, I can understand why he does that. But the competitor in me is like, don't you want to beat those guys?
Yeah. Yeah,
like, don't you want to have your own legacy when you retire instead of just being one of the guys who was on the Dodgers?
Right. You put that baseball on the mantle, nobody cares. Like, congrats. They bought it for you.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Similar to the memorabilia thing almost. Like, don't you want it to like mean something and like have a story behind it? And like, if you're Kyle Tucker, you're like, and whatever. This is, again, closed-minded Canadian Blue Jays baseball fan. Like, you're a legend in Canada. You bring a franchise a World Series that hasn't had one in 30-some years. Like, that's what's disappointing for me. Like, everyone just goes to the Dodgers. And if the Dodgers win, like, okay, like, you won 3 in a row and you have the highest payroll by $1 bazillion.
You're
like,
supposed to win.
Yeah, like, yeah, you did what you're supposed to do. Like, how is that even exciting, you know?
It feels weird that I think I'd cheer for the Yankees over the Dodgers if that was the World Series next year. That's how done I am with the Dodgers.
Yeah, probably. And Kale says, who's a bat you want for the Jays now? Like, there's no one left now. Like, free agency's kind of depleted. So that's the other shitty thing is maybe
they need another bat?
I think you'd probably want one more.
A lefty.
Yeah, you probably want someone to give your lineup a bit of a different mix.
Who is left? Is it Cody Bellinger? Someone said, is he still around?
Yeah, and they're rumored Bellinger. They've kind of been rumored with Bellinger every winter, and he keeps taking 1-year deals. So maybe now's the time Bellinger commits to actually signing, and he'd be fine. He's just, again, not as flashy as a Bichette or a Tucker. Which
he was though.
At one point, he won an MVP. Not that
Did he really?
Long ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Early in his Dodgers career, he won an MVP.
Damn, he is good.
We're gonna have Ryan Jones on in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, badass.
One of those guys, like decade of darkness. You think about moments that like at least gave us some hope and reasons to smile as Oilers fans. Guys like Ryan Jones got us through some pretty dark times.
Yeah. Like I liked him so much. I really like the number 28 now, and I'll bet on it when I'm on a roulette table.
Just
like,
for Ryan Jones.
The Ryan Jones effect.
Yeah.
He turned that number around for me. I had no
connection,
heartfelt feelings to it pre Ryan Jones. Yeah. Everybody just loved that guy.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. He just kind of felt like he was from Edmonton almost, like a blue collar guy, like just went to work every night and probably more than he ever should have. Not till it, you know,
dude, he was like playing junior B. Like his story is awesome. It's just like, he is the epitome of like, if you work your bag off,
he's a waiver
you will get somewhere.
The others got him off waivers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like, he had 2 really good seasons, and I think even the down seasons he had, statistically, he was still like, you wanted him on the team.
Yeah.
And I loved him. I think he's my favorite Oiler ever. And I say it all the time, and it sounds like I'm saying a joke. Shaped a generation.
Yeah.
I think all my buddies loved him. And I know people will say like they grow their hair for Ryan Smith. It was like, no, it was for Ryan Jones. I specifically remember.
And you were saying like one of your favorite guests that you've had on the show in the history.
Maybe my favorite. And Grant Fuhr is something I'll never forget.
Right. Yeah. We had probably my favorite guest on the show yesterday.
That was next on my list.
I thought you were going to say today.
Yeah, Liam was so good today.
You guys had Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, on from jail. What was the most shocking part of the interview?
How much I liked him. Like, I thought he was going to be all fired up and swearing about Carol Baskin and like showboaty. But he was actually like, I wanted to go for a beer and hang out with him. I didn't expect to just like
him,
reason with him. Almost.
Yeah.
Like the guy's been up to some things and he's in there for a reason. So like
for multiple reasons.
Yeah. You don't want to glorify him, but that's why it was so surprising that I was like, oh, this guy just actually sounds like a sweetheart. Strange.
But it is crazy. And he, like Lisa comments, we've been radicalized. What was the one comment? I was like, if this guy's a manipulator, like consider me manipulated.
Color me manipulated.
That is, I mean, wild, but like maybe give some people some background if we can. Like, how did this come about? Why did this come about?
So we randomly got a DM from Joe Exotic's verified Instagram at Ryder and Lisa, which only has like 6,000 followers. We just started that Instagram account not too long ago. So like no idea originally how he found us, but he just said, hey, and we're like, Joe Exotic? Like, what? And said, hey, can we get you on our show? And he kind of responded, or somebody that works for him that said, yeah, he'd love to make an appearance. he's doing like a Valentine's Day fundraiser. Well, he'll call your sweetheart for $50 and wish her a happy Valentine's Day.
Jeez.
Trying to get a hold of him was tricky though. Like he ended
jail.
up bailing the first day, and we just got a message that said Joe had some troubles in the clink today. I was like, did he get shaved? What does that mean?
That's so ominous.
Yeah. And then the next day, I just held out belief. He said he'd call at 8:45 a.m. and right on the nose.
Whose phone did he call?
Reese's. We had to give him, and Reese had it all hooked up so he could interview him through the phone. But my buddy Doug apparently had a connection and reached out to him and said, there's this show that I think you'd really enjoy. And so that's how he ended up reaching out to us. So shout out to Doug.
That was wild. I mean, just in the first few months of you guys having a show with us, Jeff Nadeau, Joe Exotic. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was so out of left field. And like so funny that yesterday we had Adam Scorgi on for like a deep dive into the great ones, the upcoming Oilers documentary for an hour. And it was like right on point with, you know, Oilers Nation, who we work for, what it's all about. And then Joe Exotic.
I have a Friday fun zone if you want to dive into that quickly.
Okay, we'll do it quick.
Okay. This won't take very long.
It'll work even though we changed our streaming software.
I don't have anything for this anyway.
Okay.
So it's all audio, mouth work. Okay. Play along in the chat. So I've been seeing these videos on YouTube, and maybe we can get a timer, Aaron. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe just your phone is fine.
Nothing works on stream.
Okay. So you guys are gonna have 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes. Together, you can work as a team to name the top 10 goal scorers from the decade of darkness in honor of Ryan Jones coming on the show today. So from 2007 to 2016, because they made the playoffs in 2017. That's right, right?
Yeah.
So I will say that season ended the decade of darkness.
2 minutes?
2 minutes. Why not? And I say go.
Wait. So we have 2 minutes to get all 10. Will you tell us, like, as we get one, can you tell me what spot they are?
Yes. Yeah, I will.
Okay, and this is from 07 to 2017.
2007 to 2016.
2016, so a year before they found the minute. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Is everyone ready? Is 2 minutes enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 minutes will easily be enough.
Okay. Hit it.
Sam Gagne.
Sam Gagne is number 3.
Taylor Hall.
Number 2.
Jordan Eberle.
Number 1.
Okay.
Got the easy ones out of the way. Cogliano.
Cogliano is number 8.
Okay.
Hall, 57 goals.
Penner's in there.
Justin Penner is number 4, 93.
Okay.
Hemsky's number 6. You got 5. He's number 5. You've got 6. So you need 4 more. Horkoff is number 6. He had 80 goals. 3 more.
3 more. Eberle, Hall, Gagne, Penner, Hemsky, Horkoff, Cogliano.
That's 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I don't have a number 9 on my list. Was Smitty here long enough?
No, Ryan Smith is not on the
defenseman
list. No defense.
Nuge will be in there.
Nuge is number 7, 77 goals.
How much time we got left?
110.
Oh, wow. I think it's 2 left. Should have done 90 seconds.
2 more.
Audible.
I'm trying not to just like spray here and say a bunch of random.
You did 9 and you need 9 and 10.
Oh, we've done good. I wish this was just the top 8. We'd look like real heroes.
Yeah, people are saying Robert Nelson. I'm trying not to look at the chat. No way.
Robert Nelson is 16.
Yeah.
Smith is 14.
Yeah. Who would have like been on power plays? Who would have been playing top? Is Ryan Jones in there?
Ryan Jones is number 10. 40 goals.
No kidding.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Who was playing top 6? It was Jones with Smitty. It was Horkoff. No Gazdic, Hall, Eberle. Who were they like vets that they would? Yakupov.
Nail Yakupov.
Let's go.
Whoa, I thought of him like 6 times, and I was like, "Ain't no way he made that list."
He had 50 goals during that time. He finished with 62 in his career. You got to think he had a 17-goal season, 11 and 14-goal season.
Okay.
So there you go. Top 10 was.
Wow, that was a decade of darkness. Yeah. You add all of those up. That's just McDavid and Draisaitl. Yeah. I wonder how like they compare.
You know, it's funny. I'll look. So it's Jordan Eberle 145, Taylor Hall 132, Sam Gagne 101, Dustin Penner 93, Hemsky 92, Horkoff 80, Nuge 77, big drop off, Cogliano 57. Yakupov 50, Ryan Jones 40. First defenseman, Tom Gilbert, 32 goals.
All right.
I thought Jelty would have been higher than him.
Yeah, Schultz was No, he had 28 goals. He was 18th on the list. So out of curiosity, so the top two here, just quickly, 145 for Eberle, 132 for Taylor Hall. So if I just flip this around and go to today from the 2017 season.
Yeah, it'll be like 600 for McDavid or 600 for Draisaitl.
I bet Draisaitl and McDavid are bigger than that entire 10 list combined.
It's got to be close. Yeah.
Draisaitl has 374 goals. McDavid is second, and he is at 345. If this list was today, like just combining the two, Jordan Eberle during that decade would be fifth with 144 because Nuge has 187 and Zach Hyman has 160.
Wow.
That makes sense.
That is insane.
That is crazy.
That's why we deserve this. That's why we're getting the cup. We need one. We deserve it. We went through that together.
Alex Chason would be a top 10 scorer in that decade of darkness.
He had a couple good years.
Yeah.
Nuge 1000 on Sunday for the reason we're having Jonesy on. That is like a good way to wrap it up. Is like, man, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins made it through all of that, and he's still here. That's so cool. I'm so excited. First player to play their first 1,000 games of their career in an Oilers jersey. It's never happened before. That's pretty cool.
Like, what a beauty, too.
Yeah.
The whole time. He's just been so likable.
Yeah.
Showing up for work, smile on his face, happy to be there. Like
9 to 5.
Just a perfect player.
Thank you for popping on.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you. We'll see you again next week, obviously, Monday through Friday on the Sauce YouTube. The Sauce with Ryder and Lisa. Thank you to Ryder. Once again, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal. Add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Also, a reminder, every quarter there is an all-new community box where 10% of proceeds go towards a local charity. And right now, that charity is Sports Central, which allows you to make an impact on the local community. Sports Central does a fantastic job ensuring kids in the city to play minor sports, equipment fees, all of that stuff. They help out with so much. Oodle Noodle and Sports Central. All right, Liam, let's keep cruising along with things.
Big news out of New York.
Yeah, so that's probably a pretty good spot to go here. The New York Rangers, for what would be the second time in 7 years, have put out a statement to their fan base saying that they will be going through a retooling period. Basically saying everyone's for sale. Liam, Chris Jury puts it out. I mean, the obvious name here is Panarin. I saw Friedman has an article out. The Rangers are not going to be offering Artemi Panarin a contract extension. Do you think, two-parter, do you think Panarin, is that someone you'd like to see the Oilers go after? Part 2, is there anyone on the Rangers you'd like to see the Oilers go after?
I would take someone of Panarin's caliber. I mean, if there's we talked about, obviously, can Nuge play 3C? Do we even want him to play there? Can you get a guy to play with McDavid? If there's one guy, I mean, he's probably one of the best players of the past decade.
Yeah.
So yes, I would have interest in him, but only if he gets a haircut before he comes.
You want bald Panarin?
Oh yeah,
I think he is bald right now.
I know, but like refresh, let's get started again.
Yeah,
I think that's essential to all of this. What do you think?
He's a hell of a hockey player.
Yeah,
and he would come here and be very, very good with whoever he would play with in the top 6. If you want to add a truly elite scorer at this deadline, there's one of them probably available, and it's Artemi Panarin.
Yes, I completely agree.
He does have short hair currently.
Okay, that's good.
Let's get shorter.
He's qualified.
Someone says the cap doesn't work.
You can make it work. You can always make the cap work.
You would have to get the Rangers to keep 50% of it.
Okay, let me do some math here.
So if they keep 50% of it, it is $5.8 million.
Hold on, just typing it
in. So you get Mangiapane out. That takes you from 5.8. You have a $2.2 million gap.
Pickard gone. There's another million.
There's another mil. But again, if Henrique's back, I think it would take one other piece of, we'll call it cap gymnastics, to make it work.
Yeah. And you find a way. Maybe someone's on LTIR for the rest of it. Maybe Henrique can't come back until the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, whatever, there's the other stuff part of that, but I'm sure it would still work. Right? I would think.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah. You gotta, if you have Panarin in the palm of your hands, you cannot let him slip and go to Colorado, who will figure it out, and Vegas, who will figure it out. And I believe the Oilers are more than capable of figuring out that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, yeah, you can have him or take him 50%. You just have to make the money work. Then you make the money work. Even if it takes like Mark, for example, out the door, who has been playing well, and I like what he's bringing, but like 1.4 million.
I think the only way it works is if you find a taker for Henrique.
Okay.
And you have to get him to agree.
Yep.
And
that's easier said than done, as me just being like, yep. But like, that's something you would have to figure out.
Try to do. Yeah.
Is there anyone else on the Rangers you would have any interest in?
That's kind of what someone said. Braden Schneider on the blue line. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think he's good.
24 years old, right shot would fit. I'm not saying he wouldn't fit. I think that's maybe a summertime thing. If you're going to spend assets at the deadline, do you maybe go get a vet before you go get Braden Schneider? I love the player. I think he's going to be really good. He'd cost a lot, though. I don't think you have enough to do Schneider and go get help in your forward group, though, would be my thing.
I wonder, just because they've had interest in bigger players, and by bigger, I mean taller. They've shown some interest in Susie before. Yeah.
He was going to be
would have to be there. He's 3.25.
He's the left shot.
Yeah, but they've also shown interest already in like Stanley, and he's a left shot. I don't know. I think they're comfortable having Wallman or Stasny play on their offside.
Yeah, and that's fair. They could be.
Yeah.
Susie would probably come in and be an everyday player. Someone said Susie is ass.
I think he might be ass, but I think one thing to consider about ass is bad team. Yeah. And we've seen many times when players get a fresh start on a team that's going to go and try and win a Stanley Cup, they seem to find an extra gear for themselves for a little bit here. So I'd be interested. He would have to talk to McDavid about his cross check. We'd have to revisit that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we could get over it. I mean, we didn't like it, and McDavid didn't either, but Brandon Mann was part of this team at one point. Other than that, I don't know if there's many other guys that would be available to. I know they said everyone's available, but like I like Will Cooley. They're not trading Will Cooley.
No. What about would you have any interest in Taylor Radish? 7 even strength or 7 goals this year, 1 shorty, 6 even strength. So he's scoring at like a 13 goal pace, 1.5 million. I don't think he gives them what they are looking for in the bottom 6 per se. He's the only other guy who like even mildly was like, oh, he's cheap. Matt Rempe. God, this fan base would love Matt Rempe.
They would.
I just don't think he's that good of a player.
I think he's got a lot better, though, to his credit. I don't think he would be something we'd look at either. I don't think Taylor Radish would be the guy for me, as Hurting Albertan says, to pass on Radish.
Yeah.
For not even anything that he's doing or not doing right now, but just the fact that like the statement came out, or the report, I guess, not statement, that the Oilers want to find bottom 6, a player that play in the bottom 6 and knows they're a bottom 6 player. Like, is Taylor Radish get there eventually? Be like, I'm a top 6 guy. Like, I want to play top 6. I don't know.
Aaron's whispering Sam Carrick behind the scenes.
Do you remember when the Oilers played him earlier in the year and he easily was their best player?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got the syrup downstairs. We got the hats downstairs.
It's only $1 million. No, he didn't score because we won 2-0, but he deserved to score. He was arguably the best player on the ice.
He has 2 goals in 48 games. I'll pass.
Not bad. That's as many as Frederick. And he has paid $3 million less.
I'll pass.
Yeah, more
as much as I love a reunion, I'm out on that.
Yeah, I don't see much of a fit besides Panarin and maybe one of those 2 defensemen we spoke about. I've heard that Schneider.
They're terrible. Like, their roster's not good.
Thing, like, we've said it, and it's always easier to say it on this show, whatever. But like, don't just hang around. Like, be all in or all out.
Yeah.
Like, be bad and be good. Like I said to my friends the other day, I was like, I don't really like where the NHL is at right now, and I know this is like probably my own take and people will disagree, but like, I don't like the mushy middle for teams. Like, I want great teams and I want terrible teams.
Yeah, but this does give you a playoff race.
Yeah, and that's fine, but
which is good for the sport.
Yeah, but I want to be good for the Oilers, where it's like, okay, there's already 10 teams out of the playoffs by Christmas, and they have all these options. Well, now we're looking at it being like, well, who's last? And like, if the Rangers really want to, they could buy a couple pieces and be well in playoff contention.
Yeah, I think what works against them is just like, because again, they're only 10 points out right now. That's not like insurmountable.
Yeah.
But you have 7 teams to bounce over.
Yeah.
That like in today's NHL with the loser point and with parity,
to do.
You're not going to jump 7 teams. That's the thing working against Winnipeg now that they've won 4 in a row. Like, Winnipeg's only 8 points out of a playoff spot, but it's like, are you going to play at a clip that allows you to jump all those teams? Like, that's hard.
Like Brian, I think we're kind of on the same page. Is that playoff race should be 3 teams, not 10. And that's what I think too. I think it becomes more exciting when it's just like, oh, who do the Islanders play tonight? Because they might jump the Capitals in the standings. So that's what I want to see. I don't really care about like all these random
That's
teams.
exciting down the stretch.
Yeah.
I'll say for the final like 6 weeks of the season. And maybe this is something where you move the, I don't think you want to move the deadline any closer to the playoffs, but
I don't think so. It's already pretty close.
It's already pretty close. Yeah. It's already past like the 2/3 mark, or right around there. But like, I don't know. I think with 2 months to go, like right now, it is kind of fun to be like, I mean, look at the East right now. Florida's won 2 in a row. New Jersey's won 2 in a row. Ottawa's won 2 in a row. Columbus has won 3 in a row. Like, dang, the Flyers have lost 4 in a row. Boston's won 5 in a row. Like, every week there's a new team that it's like, oh, they're back. Oh, this team stinks, you know?
Yeah, it's true. We'll see what happens. Maybe just teams start to fall off here over the next month.
And I think that's ultimately what'll happen. Like Columbus, nice little story right now. They're getting the new coach bump. Rick Bowness hasn't playing good hockey. They'll lose 4 straight at some point and probably go into the Olympic break being like, okay, we're sellers. Someone said Buffalo. I think Buffalo is one of the best stories in the NHL, the way they've turned it around. I don't know. Maybe they hang around and buy, but there's a couple of teams here I'm looking at, even in the West. Like
they should buy.
Buffalo should actually. That's maybe a bad example, but like Nashville. I feel like Nashville's losing 6 straight at some point and cratering out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this weekend is a big one here in Edmonton. Saturday in Vancouver, of course, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will play game 999.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, back home in Edmonton, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will become the first Oiler to ever play their first 1,000 games of their career with the franchise. Absolutely insane. I know you can look at their all-time leaders, and Kevin Lowe has played 1,037 games as an Oiler, but he left before the 1,000-game mark and then came back at the end of his career. Nuge is the first guy to go wire to wire, 1 to 1,000 in an Oilers jersey. And to celebrate that over the next couple of shows, we're going to have a few of his former teammates join us on the program, including our next guest today, Ryan Jones. He's brought to you by our Nation Vacation to Las Vegas, March 24th to 27th. Go to nationgear.ca if you want to secure your spot on the trip. Spots are filling up. Yesterday, Jay sat down on the show. As he sat down, he said, we just sold 4 more spots on the trip. So if you want to get in, do not wait. You can secure your spot with a deposit of just 20% today. Nationgear.ca, you get your flights, you get your hotel, your tickets to the game, food and booze included at the game, transportation to and from the airport. You simply buy the trip, show up at the airport in Edmonton, and we take care of the rest. Nationgear.ca, as we now welcome into the show former Edmonton Oilers. He's even got the Oilers lid on. I love it. What a touch. Ryan Jones, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
We are great, and we're excited to have you on today. We appreciate you giving us some time, and I love, like, when we said we're having you on, I mean, you can still go to Oilers games, and every game you see a handful of Ryan Jones jerseys, and all the comments in our YouTube were like, I still have his jersey. I still wear his jersey. How cool is that for you that, like, 10 years removed from playing with the Oilers, there's still that love from the fan base?
Yeah, it is cool. I'm sure they got it at discount a couple years after I left, but I get it. Everybody needs an Oilers jersey to wear out there. I always felt the love when I was up there, especially from the fan base, and I tried to reciprocate that just in being out in the community and showing face, whenever I could. And it's a lot of my best hockey memories came from the time that I spent up in Edmonton. So it's cool to know there's a couple Jones jerseys still kicking around.
I wanted to ask you about that, like becoming a fan favorite. And obviously the Oilers claim you off waivers. You have a lot of success here with the team. Was there a first moment for you in Edmonton where you were like, whoa, like not only do I feel like an NHLer, but like I feel like a fan favorite here?
No, I think Edmonton's it's a blue collar city. And so I feel like they appreciate the guys that, go up there and will do, whatever it takes to try to help the team win games. It's something that was vocalized to me when I was on my way up there through my agent and through the guys that I knew there. And it was a good fit for me in the way that I played. So that I didn't have to go and try to recreate myself to be something that the fan base kind of wanted to see. I don't know if there was any one particular moment, but I remember, and I had a hat trick against Columbus, and I remember sitting on the bench, and the whole moment was surreal. Everything was kind of happening, and then the bench kind of went quiet. And then the Jonesy chants started quiet. and then they got loud, and like I honestly I get goosebumps thinking about it now, and just the people and the players that have gone through the Oilers organization, and to kind of hear your own name chanted in and amongst them and in that arena was it was surreal.
That's awesome. I think in Edmonton too, to become a fan favorite, like we spoke about it a little bit, like Trent Frederick right now, like I don't want to discredit what it is, but like it's a very simple game you have to play. You have to go out there and work hard basically every game and chip in with the odd goal here and there, and people will grow to love you. But I've always been curious, like you were obviously claimed by the Oilers on waivers. You mentioned a little bit there, like what it was like when you got claimed and your thoughts of the city, but like when you get put on waivers, like, do you just kind of have to sit there and be like, well, I guess we'll see what happens here in the next 24 hours?
Honestly, it was weird because I got brought in, and then I was told, hey, you're going on waivers. We're not sure what we're going to do with you if things, if you do go through, because there's always you're going on waivers with the intention of being sent down. You're going on waivers to, create some space, whatever was happening. And players aren't always privy to what the final game plan is. And so I went on waivers, and I remember going back to my apartment in Nashville, and I sat down and was trying to figure out what does it mean for me. And about 30 minutes later, I got a call from Wade Belak, and he goes, dude, I just got a call from my buddy who's in the LA organization. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I just found out you went on waivers. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he's asking me all these like background questions, like, what are you into booze? Like he's trying to figure out why you're on waivers. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like maybe him and I are asking ourselves the same question right now. So I ended the conversation with him, and he called me back about an hour and a half later. And this was in talking to my agent as well. And, he goes, hey, start packing your stuff. And I was like, why? And he's like, you're going to get picked up. I was like, oh. So I start packing all my stuff. I'm not really, talking to Nashville or anybody in Nashville at the time. My agent's calling me. I'm telling him the news that's going on, and he's just like, we've talked to a few teams, and yes, just pack your stuff, get ready to go. So the next day, of course, I'm not allowed to practice. And noon hits when you find out, my phone just starts blowing up, and I'm like, what is going on? So I grab my phone. It's all my buddies from my hometown. Hey, you're coming to Edmonton. And I was like, I am? I thought I was going to LA. Like, what's going on here? And so when I went back in there, the Preds were practicing until like 12:30. I had already had my stuff packed up. I walked back in there with Trotz and Poyle, and they're like, hey, we're just trying to get caught up, figure out what happened. And I'm just like, I got picked up by Edmonton. And they're like, oh. I'm like,
see ya.
I'm out.
Pleasure.
So I remember talking to Pat Garland maybe 5 minutes later, and he was like, okay, here's the deal. Do you need time to pack? I'm like, nope. Did that last night. I'm good. He's like, okay, we're gonna grab you the first flight to Chicago. We're playing in Chicago tomorrow. So I flew into Chicago. I loosely knew Sam Gagner just from being the same area in Ontario, and then played against Cogliano when he was at Michigan. So I walked into the hotel, and Patty had those guys wait for me just to say hi and get an introduction to the team. And then I was playing from there on out.
And once you got playing, I mean, that next full season in Edmonton, 18 goals. Year after that, 17 goals. And, obviously team never made the playoffs. But I think for Oilers fans of our age, being in our late 20s now, but like those are my formative years, man. Like walking into Rexall with my old man and watching those games. And even though like we at Oilers Nation, dubbed the decade of darkness, 10 years of those playoffs, there were still so many good memories in that stretch. Like we were going through it today, getting ready for the show. And it's like, oh my God, Scriven's 59 saves, Sam Gagner 8-point night. Your hat trick is something that the fan base still mentions. Is there one of those games that like still stands out to you as like, I mean, you already told the story of the hat trick one, so maybe another one of like, man, this is unreal right now. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I do remember Gaggs' 8-point game and just being on the bench. Like, I was just like, this isn't even possible. It's not even something that I fathomed could be accomplished in the NHL. And, you know, I'm witnessing this firsthand. Like there were games, you know, throughout the time that I was there where I always joked, I'm like, okay, not only am I being paid to do this, but I legit have the best seats in the house, because there were games you only get a few minutes, especially in a couple of those off years. And that wasn't one of them. That was kind of in the heart where I was playing well. And I just remember every time, or every third time I was coming up, they were like, Gaggs, go for Jonesy. And normally I'd be like, dude, what's going on? I'm just like, yeah, send him out. Like, I'll sit. You want to send him out? Like, we got something special going on here. So yeah, that was, and it seemed like every single shift he went out, like the anticipation on the bench were just like, okay, is he going to score or is he going to get an assist? And when you look at those points and what they were, it wasn't like he made a breakout pass from his end and then somebody took it, you know, 2 zones up, made another pass, and it was like a secondary assist. Like he was either scoring or like making a backdoor pass for a tap in. Like those were 8 legit points. So that was, yeah, that was crazy. And then, you know, there was Smitty's retirement was one, because Ryan Smith, you know, I was with him for quite a few years, and he was such a great guy to have around, and what he meant to the Oilers organization. And so getting to watch somebody like that retire and do his skate, you know, it was special to be a part of that as well, even though it's, you know, a little bit sad to have him leave the game. It was still cool to watch the appreciation that he got and the mark that he left, not only in Edmonton, but in the NHL.
Remember at the end of that game, because he was chasing the power play goal record, and he took like a 2.5-minute shift. It might have even been longer than that. And I remember watching, like, he was doing like what Ovi does now, where like he was just tagging up at the blue line and waiting for the team to break in, then he'd jump back in the zone. And I remember the story or the picture too. It was like 2 a.m. at the end of Smitty's last game, and he's still in his full gear, and he's sitting with a beer sitting next to Joey Moss. And it's like, man, what an all-time iconic photo of Smitty and Joey Moss having a beer together at 2 a.m, still in Smitty's gear.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a little while there, like you were saying, the days of darkness there, where, you know, like we felt the love, you know, amongst the teams, but we also, you know, felt the opposite side of things. And so sometimes to go out and have a beer after the game, you were kind of like, you know, that might not be right. And so, you know, we had this thing called Smitty's Bar. And when he built that nice house over there, he would just open it up, and the guys would go over there and just spend some more time together, you know, like, because that's really what it's all about, is being a team. And if you could have given every guy the option to win 60 games that year, of course we would have chose that. But for whatever reason, you know, it wasn't happening. And it didn't change the fact that we all wanted to be really good teammates and be around each other. And so it was cool for him to kind of open up his house, and we were always going back to his house and hanging out, and Mosser was there too. It was good times.
Let's talk about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's getting set to play his 1,000th game. I'm not sure if you heard before, but he's going to be the first player in franchise history of all the storied greats. He is the first one to play 1,000 straight games with the Edmonton Oilers. It's crazy stuff. And I mean, listen, he's so lovable. He's been through so much. The coaching changes. It's a totally different era of Oilers hockey. But I want to go back to the beginning. Like, I think of that photo of him from his rookie year with his first gold puck. He looks like he's 120 pounds in that photo. What were your first impressions of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins when he walks into that Oilers room in his first year?
Well, I love that you say that, because I see him now and I'm like, he looks the exact same. He looks like he's 120 pounds, and his mustache is terrible still. It's like he should boycott Movember. Just stay away from it. But yeah, I remember him coming in. Of course, when you're there and you find out that you're getting the first overall pick and who the potential pick is going to be, that was actually in Minnesota where I spend the off seasons and where I live now. And so Patty Garland was like, "Hey, come down to the draft. We got the first overall pick. It would be cool." And so when Nuge got picked and he came up to the box, I met him then. And yeah, I was just like, this is just a little kid. Like he looks like somebody I played against in junior B. And then you get to see him out on the ice and the things that he can do. And he was a special player from day one. And I think his game has only developed even more as a full round player, one of the best that'll probably ever play the game. And back then, I think that everybody wanted 100 points out of him. They wanted a second Taylor Hall. They wanted, another Jordan Eberle, and he just wasn't that guy. He put up whatever he was putting up, 50, 60, and he was a guy that could take every single face-off in your end, and he was a guy that could go out on the penalty kill, and that's really what makes Nuge who he is. And I'm sure, it's a little bit different in the Edmonton market because people tend to be more knowledgeable, but you take him and you stick him in Nashville, because we were talking about him for the first however long. I just don't think he's appreciated like he should be. He truly is going to, exit the game as a top 5, maybe 3 best all-around player to ever play in the NHL.
I mean, it's high praise, but like he's tracking to at some point, probably the year after next year, he's going to get to the 1,000 point mark in his career. That's something only 100 players ish in the history of the sport have ever done. So like you say that, and I think some people might be like, raise an eyebrow and go, whoa, but you're right. When you factor in how good he is everywhere on the ice, and then still being a guy who's going to get to 1,000 points in his career. Like if you would have told Oilers fans back the day he was drafted that this was going to be the career he had, short of having a Stanley Cup, good Lord, has he ever blown away expectations?
Everybody would have taken it too, right? 100 out of 100 people that you ask to say, after however many years where we sit today, this is Nuge's career. There isn't a single person, like you said, outside of maybe a Stanley Cup. There isn't a single person that would go, no, we don't want him as a first overall pick. And, to look at the guys who have had 1,000 points, I would take that pool of players and I would say, how many of those guys, even saw the ice on a penalty kill? You're going to eliminate 3/4 of those players right away, and so I think he's a special player. There's a reason why when we turn Oilers games on at my house that I tell the boys to watch 93. And there's a reason why when, we go and meet up with the guys after the games when they come in town, outside of 97, 93 is the guy that, he's walking down the hallway and he's got, 2 little Jones boys, Nuge! Like they love him. He's a special player.
You mentioned like after games, you guys would go to Ryan Smith's place. Were you guys a pretty close group? Because when you look at the roster, it's like a bunch of young guys and the older guys who have kind of just been like, hey, you'll have to go and play in Edmonton. And you know what I mean? Like, how was the group? Were you guys pretty tight?
Well, honestly, we were. And I think some of those struggles brought us together, even more because we were all in it together. And you can't argue that whatever mix of players that we had there during those times, it wasn't the right mix, or else we would have won a lot more games. And that's not saying anything about any one individual player. Nothing. I mean, you look back at the roster, Dustin Penner was an unbelievable goal scorer. Ales Hemsky was, as skilled as, it gets. Ryan Whitney came there at a time where he was coming off being one of the best offensive defensemen, in Pittsburgh. You get a couple first overall guys. It's not that there wasn't a whole lot of skill on that team. It's just that for whatever reason, it just didn't gel into a winning team. But in the locker room, I mean, we were as tight as anybody, and so these young guys coming in, I think that was the one thing. As I wouldn't consider myself an older player on that team by any means, but it is one thing that we constantly heard from Sean Horkoff, from Ryan Smith, from Jason Strudwick, those guys, like, there's a certain amount of professionalism that we still have to have, and we still have to be tight, and we still have to be a team, and it was there. I wish we would have won a lot more hockey games, just because of course I'm biased, but there's no better city in the game of hockey to be a winning team than Edmonton. If somebody wants to argue about that, I'm in, but there just flat out isn't a better place to be a hockey player and on a winning team than in Edmonton.
With that in mind, I mean, how closely have you kind of followed along with the last couple of playoff runs, going to the Cup final? I mean, like, you talk about the goosebumps that you got sitting on the bench during your hat trick. Can you even imagine what's like for these guys sitting on the bench when it's rocking before Game 6 of the Cup final?
Yeah. How closely have I followed? Very close. Like, when I left Edmonton and I ended up over in Germany, we ended up playing Edmonton when I was over there, and that was cool in and of itself. But I'm a diehard Oilers fan. The organization is something that I'm proud to be a part of. Nuge being there is a big factor, because I had that, have had that relationship with him. So I'm constantly, pulling for him, but I still know, these guys in the locker rooms, the trainers, from equipment trainers to medical trainers, all these guys, like, I want them to have success. And, selfishly, I want the team to have success. I'd like to think that even though we're 10 years down the road, some amount of the blood, sweat, and tears that I left there had an impact on the success that they're having right now. And so we follow along really close. I got a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old, two boys who play hockey here in Minnesota, who are huge Oilers fans, huge Nuge fans. And so, yeah, we watch them all. I was heartbroken the last couple of years, but that's the growing pains of hockey. And I said this and I forget, I was talking to somebody else too, having been around these guys, having been down, in the Excel arena when they're getting done these games. I mean, the human beings that are in that locker room they're phenomenal people. They just are. Like, I think people they see hockey players and they kind of try to separate who they are as humans. And it's just like, oh, well, like, he's supposed to play hockey. We pay him to play hockey. He's supposed to do this. And so there's this separation of that. And that's fine if they want to treat it that way. And I look at them, as players and also as people, and they're so easy to root for, because they're such great human beings. They walk out of the locker room. I got my 2 kids down there. There's not a one person on that team that owes myself or my kids anything, and you got, Darnell Nurse walking out. You got Connor, Leon, Nuge, Hyman, these guys walking out, and they see the Oilers jerseys, and instead of trying to escape around, they're straight to the kids. They say hi. It's just, they're so easy to root for. And it's even to the point now where I'm kind of like, these boys, they deserve to win. They honestly do. They just flat out deserve to win. And if the hockey gods are there, like I think that they're there, these guys, they need a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last one. You mentioned it briefly there. You ended up playing the Oilers in Germany. I'm sure when you went to Germany, you never thought you would play the Edmonton Oilers. Like that must have been cool, obviously, to play against your old team, but also Leon Draisaitl to play in his. I think that's his hometown.
In Cologne.
Yeah, he was in Cologne. Yep, and we had his dad as a coach.
Yeah.
That year, so that was the tie into that. And I had met Leon when I was over there because he did some training with us in Cologne as we got going as kind of his preseason stuff. And same thing. I mean, there's a great human being, Leon Draisaitl, outside of these footballers over there, is the biggest thing to come out of Cologne. And you get talking to him, he's just a guy. Like he comes down, he hangs out with the boys again outside the locker room. You can talk to him. He has time for everybody. So it was fun to be around him, preseason, let him, come back to Cologne and experience that. For us, it's hard because you have to be realistic in that game, and knowing that you're not going to get the best Edmonton Oilers team that there is. You still want to go out and win. And I was torn because the last thing I wanted to do was have to beat Edmonton and then listen to Edmonton fans be like, oh, they lost to a German team, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, pump the brakes. We are mid-season. We're 20 games into our season over here. And Edmonton's coming over trying not to get hurt going into their first game. Like, I love that they do it. Like I think it's cool for the fan bases everywhere. It's just almost like the boys are. It's kind of a lose-lose. You beat the Cologne Sharks by 1 goal, and everybody's like, "Oh, you should have smoked them." Well, thank God it didn't lose. I think Tobias Ryder scored the overtime winner, didn't he?
If he did, that might have been the only goal he scored.
He went the entire year, I think, without scoring a goal. Classic.
I swear he scored the overtime winner that year in that game. You look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you were there. I do believe you. I trust you on that.
I get hit in the head a couple times, but I remember he was there.
All right, before we let you go, just because again, there's so many people in the chat who are like really fired up to see you. You mentioned you have the 2 boys there in hockey. Like, are you coaching? Kind of like, what's life look like right now for Ryan Jones?
Well, it's busy. Yeah. It's so I started when I left Germany. I came here to Minnesota. I started a residential general contracting company. So I'm a home builder, remodeler now. I try to just build for all these rich hockey guys here. That's the goal. But yes, I coach them both. I have a first year peewee and a first year squirt. And it's, I love it. I love being out on the ice. These kids, if I can give them any tiny little piece of information to help them in life and in hockey, it's the least that I can do for a game that gave so much back to me. And so, I'm probably on the ice 7 days a week between the 2 kids, and I do. I love coaching hockey, and we'll see. I don't know. The boys, they play. It's not like I have the absolute best 12-year-old in Minnesota or the best 9-year-old in Minnesota, but they got some body changes to go through. They got girls to meet and eventually an introduction to beer. And when they make it through all of that, then we'll see what happens to them. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I got the facts.
Oh,
you had an assist in the game, but Tobias Ryder Tobias Ryder didn't get the overtime winner. Ryan Strome got the overtime winner, but Ryder did score in the game.
There you go.
And
I hit the post on a breakaway with like 4 minutes left in the game. It was, I think, 3-3, right? They won 4-3?
Yeah, 4-3 in overtime.
And I hit the post with only a few minutes left. Yeah.
People are fired up to see you on the show. So again, thank you so much for your time. I see Dry says get this guy on more.
Any time to talk Oilers hockey, I'm in.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to hold you to that. And what they've been doing in the playoffs, obviously, is they keep bringing back former players and like getting them to wave the towel, slam a beer, and do all that stuff. they got to bring you up for a game here.
So Patty G reached out to me last year, and I forget what it was. The timing was like right in the district hockey tournament, So it's like you throw something out there like that. I got to go to my then 11-year-old. I'm like, hey, bud, what do you think? Should Daddy go up and watch the Oilers play in the playoffs? It's like, but who's gonna coach? Like, damn, you're right. You're right. What if I call Uncle Doobie and Uncle Doobie can come and coach and I'll go up to the playoff game?
Hey, we swung it with Doobie where we brought him in for the playoffs last year and flew him up, and he just had to do our post-game show. So if you want a trip to Edmonton to come watch playoff games with us, we can make that work.
Let's do that. Him and I can make a show of it. We see each other all the time down here, whether it's in the rink or outside. He's one guy that I've stayed very tight with.
All right. Thank you for your time. Yeah. Appreciate you popping on. And yeah, we're absolutely going to bring you back on soon.
That works. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
There you go. Oilers legend, Ryan Jones, swinging by. That's a great, we wanted to end Nuge week with like a banger, and that was an absolute banger of an interview. He's the man.
Yeah. I feel like I've known him for years.
I loved Aaron behind the scenes, just like fist pumping when he says that. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, it's cool. He was really like a fan. Like people loved him.
He's fan favorite. Yeah.
And a lot of good memories during a time that stuck to be an Oilers fan. There wasn't much going on. And he was great. And I'm glad to hear he still loves the Oilers. Like his kids love the Oilers.
And those guys who played at a time when, like he said, like they heard it from the fans when they weren't playing well. Like sometimes we get rose-colored glasses looking back, but you can pull up that video of them walking down the tunnel, getting booed off the ice. Like it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy by any means. And yeah, a lot of good moments from Jonesy during that time. And hopefully he can come up. That'd be sick.
The decade of darkness is trauma bonded guys like Witt, Jonesy, Doobie.
Even Jason Strudwick has made a career of it in Edmonton, and he has a great personality too. And but yeah, a lot of those guys. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Like we were joking before the show, like you remember the Scrivens stuff and you remember the Gagne stuff so fondly. Like imagine if McDavid was like anyone on that team at a 20-game point streak. Like crazy. We didn't even talk about that it ended today because it'll probably just start up again tomorrow. Like,
it does suck that it ended.
It does suck that it ended, and it kind of ended in a good, poetic way, I guess. Like you're going against the best goalie in the league right now. Your team loses 1-0, but like, if that happened today, like with any of those, like we remember Sam Gagne is like one of the greatest Oilers ever for that moment.
Yeah,
and McDavid obviously is too, but it's amazing. I don't know. It's cool.
Sean says probably saw through jersey throws as well. Yeah, he definitely more than a few.
When I was asking the question of like. You had older guys, and like, I didn't want to say misfits, but it was right. Like that blue line was a bunch of guys who nobody else wanted. Like, and they worked.
Dogs talked about how he did not want to be in Edmonton,
but then he comes here and it's like, it's to play with.
Yep. Okay, we got to wrap up for our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, gentlemen, NFL playoff action. Buffalo Bills tomorrow, 2:30 against the Broncos. I know you're not high on my Bills.
I just can't watch football right now. I'm so down on it. I didn't watch any game last weekend.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear. This weekend should be good. Bills, Broncos, Bills 1.5 underdogs on the road. Seahawks 7-point favorites at the Niners or hosting the Niners. Texans, Patriots, Pats by 3. Shout out to Aaron's Patriots. Rams 3.5-point road favorites over the Bears. Let's throw our weekly parlay together, boys. We are plus 5.7 units on the year. What do we like? What's jumping up?
Gibbs first, 49ers plus 7.
That's what I want.
It's too big. Like they're too good of a team.
They're playoff teams. You can't have a spread that big.
Yeah, I agree. I think like again, it could be as simple as they're down 12, they get a garbage time touchdown, and you're good.
Exactly.
Aaron,
you go. I'm torn.
I think Chicago can keep it to a field goal at home.
I think that's fair.
Like, you know what? No, I like the over in Rams Bears, over 48. Rams Bears.
You don't have to go with a spread if you want, Aaron. I know there's only a few left.
There's only a couple things to pick here.
I think LA couldn't really hold Carolina's offense. I feel like LA will get their offense going at some point with the Rams, and it'll be like that game will be like
going over 48.5. Rams Bears.
That's what I just took.
Oh shit. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go Bears plus 3.5 then.
Okay, Bears
keep
plus
it tight.
10. Keep it tight. Plus 644.
Damn, Daniel.
All right, there you go. Our parlay boys pays out. It's a juicy one this week too. Plus 644, gentlemen. So there you go.
I forgot to tell you guys something last week, and I'll do it really, really quickly. So in the soccer world, there's this tournament called the FA Cup in England, and every single team can play in the FA Cup. It's the beauty of it. It's like so many rounds of qualifying, whatever. And last week, a team called Macclesfield Town, which play in the 6th level of English football, so they're not a professional team, they're all semi-professional, beat Crystal Palace, who are the current holders of the FA Cup. The last time that happened, to put it into a perspective, was 117 years ago. And the team that knocked out the non-league team that knocked out the current holders at that time, Crystal Palace, the team that lost. So karma does eventually catch up to you.
Just lifetimes later.
Yeah.
That would flat circle.
Yeah.
Equivalent of that would be like if the Oilers actually had to play like a meaningful game against like the Golden Bears and lost.
Essentially, yes.
Not the rookies, but like it is a meaningful Edmonton Oilers versus U of A Golden Bears, and the Golden Bears beat them.
Yeah, they're men.
Yeah.
Men versus men, and they
professionals just call them amateurs for the sake
amateurs,
of this.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Crazy.
117 years.
All right. That Ryan Jones interview has me on a cloud right now.
It was
that
amazing.
Was one of the best things we've done on the show.
Honestly, like that was left me speechless.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to ask him so much, but I didn't know what to ask him at the same time.
Yeah, no. When I threw to you for the last question, I was like, "Oh, do you have one?"
Just stunned.
Yeah,
like that was. If I had a Mount Rushmore of guests coming into the show, like when we started it, he would have been on it. He would have been on it. I don't even know who else would have been, but like, I know he's on it.
My remaining white whales, Hemsky.
Oh, that's what we call. That's a great one.
I would love to get Hemsky.
Yeah,
we've tried to get Ryan Smith. That won't happen, so I don't really have like a hope for it. I know Hemsky we could get. I know there's a path us getting Hemsky.
There is.
So like that's what I'm saying.
We've not been that far away. Like we've never really tried that hard, but I feel like if we did, we're close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did we have George Larock in the background of somebody?
Yeah.
Remember we had Max Lapierre on, he put George on.
George
has been around.
He wouldn't be on mine.
No.
He wasn't part of my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I know why people love him and rightfully so.
Yakslov. I want Yak.
I almost feel like Pulyavi might be on mine.
I don't know how good the interview would be though.
I know,
but
like
Yak, right?
Yeah,
Yak
but
did drop in the gloves before, and he was actually okay when I was
good.
producing.
Yeah.
Someone said try and get Whitney. We've had Whit on all the time.
Whitney.
He's so busy that you never know if he's going to text you back.
Yeah, I think we've had him 3 times.
Yeah. Someone said Schmeed. Schmeed's an awesome guest. We love having Laddie.
Yeah.
Who else would be?
I mean, honestly, this will be a silly one, but I would like someone like Steve Tambellini on. Just to be like,
I know,
ask about the decisions, and not in like a rude way. Like I would just like to know the process of like what you've been going through. The other one, actually, for me, which would be fantastic, I would love Jordan Ebley on the show.
Yeah, I was just thinking,
Jordan
I'd love
Ebley
Ebs.
was a great one. There you go. There's at least 4 white whales.
We've had Gagne. We've had him on before.
Yeah. Well, we had him on real life. We have him on this show.
Was he on real life?
But during that playoff run, the first time, Rafi Torres, Fernando, Jason Chimera was on. With Fuhr, Messier, and there's someone I know. These were through playoff runs, both of them. There was one other one. I can't believe it.
Mike Smith, he's up there for me. I'd love to have Mike Smith on.
I've seen Mike Smith out like at a hockey tournament once, and it was really weird. I don't know, just seeing him outside of his like goalie equipment, he still looks like quite a menace.
Nick is in on Facebook, says, does OEG hate you that much that some won't come on here due to respect or loyalty to the team? I think some players know we don't. I think there's a reason some guys don't text me back. Yes. Yeah. I think there's a reason, but that's where it's relationships, because like we're tight with Doobie. So Doobie puts in a good word with Ryan Jones and says like, hey, I'm going to give your number to this guy. I text Ryan Jones. Like that's the background on how we get someone like Ryan Jones. I text Ryan Jones. I say, hey man, just want to have you on. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about Nuge, talk about your time with the team. And he comes on and he's awesome. So
yeah, Doobie will probably be able to help us with a few other guys. But I feel like you have Sam. What time Gagne works for a team now too? Some of these guys work for teams as well, which is difficult. Like people kept saying Sean Horkoff. I would love Sean Horkoff, but is he with Detroit still?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He works for Detroit, so can't really do that.
Getting so much out of him.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah. There you go. But we'll think of more white whales. Let us know your white whales in the comments.
Yeah, who would you like us to get?
Sean Harrison told me if we win the cup, he'd come on. So we have to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah, for the Kate's kid. Yeah.
Who?
Harrison.
Oh, I thought you said Sean.
Someone named John commented. He said,
I was like, who's Sean?
Get Casey. Yeah, Harrison said he told you. I did. It was at a bar. So,
hey,
and we'll hold him to it. But he said when they win a cup, he'd come on.
They follow us on this.
Yeah, they do.
Harrison was a beauty.
He is. Yeah. Well, we met him in Florida. He was awesome. All right. That's a wrap on today's show, everybody. Thank you. New episode of ONR going to drop in a little bit, so we'll see you all then. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy 2 hockey games. Enjoy Nuge 1000 Monday. Devin Dubnik on to talk about Nuge hitting the 1000th game and getting his silver stick, so that'll be awesome. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you all on Monday.
Come to Greta tomorrow.
Yeah. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.